Once upon a time, in a place filled with warmth and sunshine, there lived a tiny mouse with a heart full of dreams. Her name was Mimi, and her home was the cozy corner of Maplewood Forest under the roots of an old oak tree. While other mice scurried about collecting nuts or playing hide and seek in the rustling leaves, Mimi preferred a different kind of adventure. She loved to paint. Her paints were made from nature's palette, crushed berries for red, dried dandelions for yellow, and a mix of pond water and blueberries for blue. Her little paws were often stained with color, and her small nest was a gallery of sorts, decorated with painted leaves and colorful flower petals. One sunny afternoon, curiosity led Mimi to a place she'd never been before, a dark and mysterious cave tucked away between some rocks. As she crept inside, she noticed something unusual, a faint glow emanating from a corner in the cave wall. As she got closer, she realized it was coming from an old wooden box, one that looked like it had been here for many, many years. The box was ornately carved with images of flowers and animals. But what truly caught Mimi's eye was the soft, inviting glow that seemed to pulse from within. With a deep breath, Mimi pushed open the lid. Inside, nestled on a bed of faded velvet, was a paintbrush. It wasn't any ordinary paintbrush. This one was made of the softest bristles, shimmering silver, and seemed to hum with a gentle energy. Beside it lay a small scroll with elegant script. Unfurling it, Mimi read, "Paint with heart, and magic will start." Suddenly, Mimi felt a surge of excitement mixed with a touch of fear. Could this be real? Was this magical paintbrush meant for her? Just then, her best friend, Tutu the turtle, poked his head in. "What did you find?" he asked, his eyes gleaming with curiosity. Mimi, still in awe, showed him the paintbrush and the note. "Do you think it's real, Tutu?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. "Only one way to find out," Tutu replied with a wink. He had always been supportive of Mimi's artistic endeavors, even if he didn't quite understand her desire to paint rather than collect nuts or build a cozy nest. Together, they left the cave and went in search of something to paint. They found the perfect spot by a gurgling stream where sunlight dappled through the trees. Dipping the brush into a nearby puddle, Mimi closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and began to paint. She thought of her home in the warm embrace of the old oak tree and painted a single sunflower on a nearby rock. As the last stroke left her paws, the rock beneath it trembled. Then the most amazing thing happened. The sunflower blossomed into a vibrant splash of yellow, its petals unfurling to reveal a center of golden brown. Not only that, but the air around it filled with the sweetest scent of honey and sunshine. Tutu gasped, his eyes wide with disbelief. "It worked," Mimi whispered, still in shock. Tutu, always the voice of reason, soon brought Mimi back to reality. "That was amazing, Mimi, but we should probably test it a bit more. Maybe something a bit bigger." So with renewed determination, Mimi painted a ladder, one that spiraled upwards towards the fluffy white clouds dotting the vast expanse of the summer sky. And just as she finished painting it, the ladder shimmered and grew solid. Without hesitation, Mimi and Tutu began to climb. Each step was firm and sturdy, and soon they were climbing higher and higher, leaving behind the familiar forest floor for the cool, refreshing air of the clouds. Up in Cloudland, everything was soft and fluffy. Marshmallow sheep with cotton candy tails bounced merrily around them, and cotton candy clouds drifted lazily in the pastel blue sky. There were mountains made of spun sugar and rivers of chocolate. It was a dream come true for a little mouse with a sweet tooth. But their joy was short-lived. Suddenly, the sky rumbled and a giant shadow loomed over them. It was the Cloud Giant, the grumpy guardian of Cloudland, dozing peacefully until now. "Who dares disturb my slumber?" he boomed, his voice echoing across the landscape like thunder. "I'm sorry, Mr. Cloud Giant," Mimi squeaked, taking a step back. "We didn't mean to wake you. We were just visiting." The Cloud Giant narrowed his eyes, peering down at them. He was a massive figure with wisps of cloud for hair and a beard made of fog. His face was etched with lines of perpetual grumpiness. "Visiting," he scoffed. "No one visits me unless they have a good reason. And you two look like you just stumbled into my domain by accident." Mimi, though a bit intimidated, stood her ground. "Well, yes, that's true, but I couldn't help but notice how gray and dreary everything looks. I'm a painter, and I can't help but want to add a splash of color." The cloud giant let out a loud sigh. "You are the first person who has dared to speak to me in so long that I have actually forgotten what it sounds like." He paused, then surprisingly, a small smile touched his lips. "Perhaps you could make Cloudland a bit more lively, but don't expect it to be easy. Nothing interesting ever happens here." With a determined nod, Mimi got to work. She painted a rainbow slide that twisted and turned through the clouds, a glowing moon garden filled with sparkling flowers, and stars that twinkled and danced to whimsical music. As she painted, the sky transformed. Gone were the dull grays. Now, there were hues of pink and orange streaked across the canvas of the evening sky. Giggling moons peeked from behind fluffy clouds, and playful shooting stars left trails of silver across the darkness. The cloud giant watched in stunned silence as Mimi's brush worked its magic. When she finally stepped back, he was speechless. For the first time in countless years, the sky was alive with color, music, and laughter. This is wonderful," he stammered, his voice thick with emotion. He looked at Mimi with newfound respect. "You have brought life back into my sky. Of course, you may visit anytime." And so, thanks to the magic paintbrush and her creative spirit, Mimi became the royal painter of the clouds. Every night, children around the world marveled at the skies above them, no longer just fluffy and white, but filled with shimmering stars, giggling moons, and skies that whispered dreams in swirling brush strokes. And always, hidden among the celestial artwork, one could find a tiny paw print, a signature of the little mouse who brought magic back to the skies. One day, while painting a portrait of the beaming cloud giant, Mimi added a special touch, a small mirror beside him. When he looked into it, he saw not just a reflection of himself, but a depiction of the beautiful, lively sky he now called home. Overwhelmed with gratitude, the cloud giant pulled Mimi into a giant hug. "Thank you," he boomed, his voice echoing with emotion. "Because of you, Cloudland is no longer a place of endless gray, but a canvas of dreams and laughter." From that day on, the bond between the cloud giant and Mimi grew. They would spend hours talking, not just about art, but about life, dreams, and the importance of embracing change. As the sun set each evening, casting long shadows across the land below, Mimi would pick up her magic paintbrush, ready to create another masterpiece in the ever-changing canvas of the night sky. And so the legend of Mimi, the mouse who painted the sky, continued to be told for generations to come. A tale of friendship, bravery, and the transformative power of creativity. And that's all for our story today. If you enjoyed this magical journey with Mimi and the Cloud Giant, don't forget to stay tuned for more enchanting tales. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep your hearts open to the magic that surrounds us every day.